Alright, so before the video starts, I just needed to give a bit of a disclaimer. So, for some reason, when I was editing, I noticed that the video footage looked a bit kind of bad. I don't know, it looked kind of distorted. And this stops near the radiation times. And I apologise, I don't have a timestamp for that. But I don't know even why. It looked fine until I started editing this bit, and then it looked really, really weird. But yeah, I apologise for that, and hope you enjoy the rest of it. Thank you. Ark Aberration. Arguably Ark's hardest map, and today I'm attempting to beat it. Now, sorry this isn't on Ark Ascended. I mean, well, the map's not even out on Ark Ascended yet, so that's why. And Ark Ascended's pretty dry on content, and I'm getting really bored of the island, so I just wanted to come back to this amazing game and play the Aberration map. Now, getting onto the bosses, it will be beta, as I haven't really ever done the boss, and I don't really want to press for alpha, but I also feel like going to gamma would be too easy. So with that in mind, it will be beta boss. And my goals would be hopefully to tame a Reaper, just finish the map, I think. Anyway, if you enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe, and yeah, let's just get straight on with the video. I spawned in the portal area, where I woke up, scratched my arm, then did a note run. However, the note run wasn't really a note run at all. It was more of just a one note run, as I kind of died early on to a basilisk. Oh no. Oh no. So with that death, I decided to spawn in the lower mushroom forest, where I could easily get to an island with metal and a lot of more resources. I made a stone pick, and then a hatchet with a bow and arrow. I then killed a low-level Parasauritherium, which actually really helped as it gave me a load of hide. I then killed a trilobite, which gave me a bunch more chitin. I then made a spyglass, and then tamed this low-level mosschops, which wanted mejo berries. I then crafted 4 thatch foundations, and then made a refining forge. I then harvested a bit of metal, and then made the smithy. I then crafted my first metal pick. I got a little high though. I then made a second refining forge. Oh yeah, and I also made a mortar and pestle. It was by this time that I'd broken my arm. Unfortunately, I had fell on it funny when I was playing football, and now I was playing one-handed, so I apologise for the choppy kind of gameplay, but that's because I'm playing one-handed with a controller. I made some narcotics, I then made some trank arrows, and then 2 crossbows. Oh yeah, and a metal hatchet. And then I made a full set of hide armour. I then bowlered and tranked out 2 raptors. I then named it Bjorn Ball. I don't even know what that name is. And the second one I named Rampy, after the raptor legend who beat the island twice with only raptors. Raptors laid an egg, I hatched it, and it had the perfect stats that I wanted on one raptor. I also made a full set of chitin armour. I found a roll rat and decided to let it burrow, and when it came out, let's just say I was a bit excited, as it gave me red gems, which is actually pretty rare to say. This was my first roll rat that I actually came across. Now if you don't know, red gems are really useful within the mid-game of Aberration, as they can actually make a gas collector. Now this gas collector is going to be placed on the gas veins, which are behind me and the roll rat right now. And it gives you congealed gas balls, which you can then turn into hazard gear, which then helps you go down to the radiation zone. It takes exactly 20 red gems to make a gas collector, and from the roller rat I had 25, which is actually really helpful. I got home and then made the gas collector. I then placed the gas collector down. On my adventures, I spotted a level 80 Ravager, which I decided to tame as it was a good enough level. I guess the word try could have been slotted into that entire sentence, as I kind of died while I was trying to tame it. But by the time I got back, the Ravager actually seemed to be running away from me, which is when, if you don't know, if you torpor something, which is like knock it out almost, it runs away, so it tries not to get torpored. Now, this is where the easiest part comes in. Well, at least that's what I thought, because I struggled I did in order to tame this Ravager. It kept running, and because I was playing one-handed, I literally could not like shoot this thing for the life of me. I decided to give up on the Ravager for now. However, I found a Bulldog which was a high enough level for my liking, so I tamed it up. I then found out that the Ravager had actually knocked out underneath these rocks, so I fed it with some mutton that I took from an office that I killed earlier. The Ravager then tamed up and I named it Primal. I took it back home where I made it a saddle and also made a full flak set for me. I made a campfire and cooked some meat. I harvested a ton of blue gems with some crystal added on. Here's a nice little image of how much I got. I made a ton of spark powder and then made a fabricator. I then made up a glider suit, which, if you don't know, it's kind of exactly how it sounds. It just helps you glide around and you equip it on your chest piece. However, do be warned, as it does wear out your chest piece in durability. I then made more narcotics, and then more trank and stone arrows. So the reason why I was making these trank arrows was for this level 130 dire bear that I'd found, and unfortunately, this happened. Yeah, unfortunately, this dire bear got into a fight with 3 Ravagers, a Carno, and the bleed from all 4 of them had killed it after it had finished the battle. So no more 130 or 120 dire bear, whatever the level was, for me. Now I did knock out a Dodic, but it kind of made my Ravager stuck, so I just eventually gave up and killed it. Don't worry though, I will tame another one later on. I checked the gas collector and saw that I had 3 stacks and a half of gas balls, which I took back home and eventually made up into hazard gear. So I don't know when I did, but I kind of made up the hazard gear. I think I've lost the footage, so yeah, great job me, I know, really good YouTuber over here. Shout Applaud 7, yeah, great. But yeah, no, I made up the hazard gear, I guess, sometime, I don't know when. It's right there, you can see it in the fabricator. But yeah. I spotted a level 110 Spino, which I proceeded to knock out, although it did give me some difficulty. The Spino finally tamed up and I named it Spear Tip for some reason. I took it home and then made it a saddle. I hopped on my Spino and then went for a bit of a road trip. I went searching for a Megalosaurus in the blue zone and found this. Yeah, I'm going to need to tame this. I made and placed the trap, lured the Megalo into the trap, and then proceeded to knock it out. Unfortunately though, this Megalosaurus is deemed as useless now, as I didn't find a mate at all throughout the entire playthrough. I opened a purple drop and got this. Yeah, this is going to be really useful with Rockwell. I did find a max level Megalosaurus on my adventures, although, like I said, I would not be taming this, as this isn't a female and is again deemed useless to me. I accidentally left the raptors on mating, but it came out with this. This is a beautiful raptor, although I don't use it at all. I killed an alpha Carcanos to hopefully get some good loot. However, notice how I said hopefully? Yeah, this is the loot that I got. I went ahead and made 3 cryopods. I finally made up the chem bench that I was after, and then made a generator. I spotted a level 110 male Spino, and then I tranked it out. I then found a level 90 Dodic, which was good for me, and again I knocked it out. And the same thing happened with this level 90 Anki. They eventually all tamed up, and I went back to base. I set my Spinos to breeding, and then made some aircons for the eggs to hatch. I imprinted my Spino. I imprinted this other Spinosaurus, but I can't really find the footage, so I apologise for that. But yes, now we've got a mating pair, or I guess a mate boost pair, which I will be taking down to the Rock Drake Trench to eventually get me a Rock Drake Trench. Now, there is a path which you can take if you want to do a harder method, but for me, I just jump on a Ravager, hop over to this kind of area, and just glide straight down, or parachute. Normally I parachute, but for some reason I didn't this time. I have both the Spinos in my cryopods, and I just throw one out at a time when I get down there. So unfortunately the footage of me getting the egg and also getting out of the trench has just evaporated into thin air. I have no idea where it's gone. So yeah, sorry about that, but I'll let you know what happened. I got level 90 egg, you can see here actually. But yeah, no, I don't know where it's gone. I think the footage got deleted. So yeah, sorry about that. I climbed out of the red zone and then arrived back at base. I had to craft up a ton of air cons until finally the egg started to incubate. I started to make some simple pistol ammo and then turn into shotgun ammo. My rock drake hatched. I imprinted it and then I also made it a saddle. I hopped onto my rock drake and went back into the trench. The first egg that I looked at was a level 185, which is above max level and probably one of the best eggs that I could have got. I found another egg which was level 170, and then on my third and final egg I got a level 175. I took them home, hatched the first egg, which actually came out with some really decent stamina. Whilst all this was happening, I was breeding up my spawners as well, and don't forget about that because hopefully we should get some really good boss spawners later on. The next rock drake hatched and it came out with amazing colours. However, sadly this wasn't a female and I really wanted to breed them, so hopefully next time we get a female. The last rock drake had the worst stats out of all three, and I'm not really surprised as it was kind of the lowest level egg. But sadly it was a male. I imprinted my rock drake and then let it raise up. Now whilst we wait for our rock drake to raise up, let's talk about some aberration type stuff. Now, the rock drake that I just 100% imprinted is going to be my main rock drake for the boss and also just travelling around and doing the artifact caves. Now, if you don't know why I'm selecting that one as the boss and like the main one, it's because of the health and the stamina. Now, we don't really care about melee on the rock drakes as they're mainly travel mounts. However, the health will be really necessary in the Rockwell boss fight. As if you don't know, the Rockwell boss fight is mainly done on a rock drake with a really good ascendant shotgun. Now right now I don't have an ascendant shotgun, so I will need to find one from surface drops. However, if you're on your own with a rock drake, the rock drake can die really easily, so you will need high health, but also if you have low stamina, then you would just basically stop running and then the rock drake would die even easier. So we need high stam and high health, which we got on this one rock drake. I leveled up my rock drake by killing babies and then let it heal up at the Z plant, or as Americans pronounce it, Z plant. The next part of this video was, well, me just AFKing, I guess. I just wanted to sit around and let my metal smelt. I decided that tonight was the night when I decided to get a shotgun, or at least try to get one. And I think my luck was pretty high tonight, and I'll show you why. Now, I don't think this has anything to do with luck, but somehow a yellow drop and a blue drop had spawned and landed on each other. And here is the lucky part. Now, you can't really see it because I did it so quick as there were reapers coming for me, but let me just replay that. This is 0 times speed, and you still cannot see what is inside the drop. I have no idea how I clicked it that quick, but I did. So what actually happened was I got an ascendant pump shotgun on my first drop that I checked. It was by this point that I knew my luck had shot up to the max. This was my haul for the first night. And before I show you what I got for the entire haul, can I just show you this? This is my first red drop and it on aberration, like ever. And I got an ascendant Spino BP. This was my haul from the second night. I decided I might as well try to get some better stats in the stamina, and I went down and got some pretty bad level rock drake eggs. Well, not the worst, but they definitely didn't come out with the right stats that I wanted. I decided I might as well just get some black pearls, so I did that, and I don't really know why for any reason at all, because throughout this entire playthrough, they were not necessary whatsoever. Right, okay, so here the footage just vanished. I have no idea where it's all gone, but as you can see here, I made up 2 refining forges to hopefully get my metal smelting a bit quicker so I can make that industrial forge. However, let me just run you through something just to warn you for near the end. For some reason, whenever the PlayStation uploads stuff, sometimes some of it does not upload to YouTube, which is where I get it from, by the way. And this also happens with crashes. If you crash whilst you are recording, the footage just gets absolutely wiped, which this will come up very soon later on, and I apologise for it. I laid some thatched foundations out so I could place the industrial forge later on. As I was flying on by, I spotted a beehive, which is actually really useful as it gives us giant bee honey. Now, if you don't know what this does, this is pretty good at making some veggie cakes and stuff, but this isn't what I wanted it for. I wanted it to tame a roll rat, which, if you don't know, on Aberration, the map that I'm playing, is the best wood gatherer. With that giant bee honey, I decided to tame myself a level 120 roll rat. Unfortunately though, I forgot to bring my light pet, and the nameless would spawn, so this would be an issue later on. So if you don't know how to tame a roll rat, you wait until it burrows, put honey in the last slot of your hotbar, and throw it out. This will then start taming the roll rat. I then tamed the roll rat and named it Rover. This creature right here would help a ton for the rock roll boss fight, as the industrial forge, which I was grinding for, can smelt charcoal extremely easily if you just put wood in it. Now this creature right here, like I said before, is the best wood harvester on Aberration. Thankfully though, the grind was finally over, as I managed to make the industrial forge. I gathered all the wood that I managed to harvest with Rover and put it all in the industrial forge. I then crafted a ton of gunpowder, which I then used to craft some simple pistol ammo, which would then be turned into shotgun ammo. I decided it was time for my worst nightmare, the caves. I got the first artifact and then left the cave. I then decided it was time for the radiation cave, and I got that artifact as well. Although I don't have the footage, again, for some reason. Now time for the one cave I dreaded the most, the underwater cave. This cave is probably one of the most dangerous caves in all of Ark. And trust me, I was not looking forward to it. Although, to be honest, it kind of went a bit more smoother than I expected. All I needed to do was cry out my bulldog and then go invisible on the rock drake. Now, if you don't know why I have to cry out my bulldog, it's because when you go invisible on the rock drake, for some reason the fish can, and like all the enemies in the water and stuff, can still see the rock drake if you've got a shoulder pad on. And I have no idea why. I'm hoping they fix this in ASA Aberration. If I'm being honest, it probably won't, but yeah. All I needed to do was cry out the bulldog and go invisible, and I just made it straight to the artifact. I decided that now was the time to tame a Reaper, so I started making up the trap. For this trap, I'm using Captain Factdog's Reaper trap. Now, credits to him all the way. I did not come up with this trap. So yeah, please go and check out his channel. I don't think I'll link it below because I don't know how to. But yeah, no, he's a fantastic trap maker, fantastic art player. Definitely go and subscribe to him. He's got fantastic traps. I am getting sick of this PlayStation thing. I don't know why, and I don't know how, but the footage of me getting this Reaper has been deleted again, and it's so frustrating. I'm so sorry. I really want to produce a really good video for you guys, and it's really difficult. I'm just going to tell you now, I made up a thatch hut because my rock drake almost knocked out, and I had to move. I had to be quick, so I made a base on top of this cliff thing and just birthed my Reaper there. So yeah, I'm sorry that I couldn't produce an alright video for you guys. I apologise for that. I imprinted my Reaper, and then I began to raise up my Spino armor. Oh yeah, I also leveled up my Reaper, like a ton. We had 67 points after this, and they all basically went into health and melee. Now, this got me to 101,000 health, and I still had a ton more points to bump into melee. That's insane. Alright, so you know how I had that amazing Spino saddle VP? Well, I'm not going to use it, at all, for some reason. I could easily have done the grind for it, if I'm being honest, easily. But it was pretty expensive, and I just felt like it wasn't necessary, and that primitive saddles would be enough, as the boss doesn't really do any damage to the dinosaurs, except for, well, when I'm riding them, but that's a different matter. I'm only going to be riding on the rock drake, so it probably wouldn't have been necessary anyway. Honestly, I would normally show you the imprinting, but it just feels a bit boring to show. And all I did was hatch, imprint, put a saddle on, put next to the Z plant, which will then heal it up, and just keep repeating that for 15 more Spinos. I took a break from Spino reading and decided to go out and hunt some basilisks for their basilisk scales, which will be used for the tributes in the Rockwell boss fight. I decided to swap out my rock drake for a Reaper, and well, you can see why I did it. 2,021 damage is absolutely insane. This is probably one of my best creatures, if not my best creature on this map. I only needed one more basilisk scale, so I went to the only place that I've not been in this entire playthrough, the Fertile Lake. And I'm glad I did, as immediately when I got there, I found a basilisk. And that marks all attributes completed. I got home and immediately did more Spino breeding. For some reason now I made up a campfire when I could have easily just made one earlier on. But I think the only reason why I did it was because I kind of needed some cooked meat for the Rockwell boss fight, as I was not going to bring any med brews in. I'll be honest with you, in my opinion, this is probably the worst part of our breeding for the final boss, I guess you could call it. Well, some people do find it kind of exciting to do and getting mutations. Personally, I don't. And I can see why many people might want me to put imprinting and everything in, but it just felt like it might be a bit boring for you, so I apologise for that. If you do have any complaints, put them down in the comments. I'll be happy to review them, and hopefully in my next 100 days, I'll be able to do that, you know? I'll change my ways. Alright, just to make some of you guys happy, here's an imprint. And here is some Spino healing. I then started to cryo up my boss Spinos. I then made up some water jars to also take into the Rockwell boss fight. I was fully prepared for this boss fight. Surely I beat it, right? Well, I did, but I don't have the footage. I'm sorry, I can't lie. This really annoyed me. I completely beat the entire boss fight, and like, I've got the proof to show it. I've got the engrams, I've got the Spinos dying in the tribe log. I've also got all the items, I think they're in my rock drake. And you guys don't get to see the boss fight. I don't know why, but I don't know why it did that, but well, I do. The game crashed. Like the game crashed as soon as the Ascension ending just stopped. So you know what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show you the Ascension ending. Sorry that you guys don't get to see the boss fight, but there's not a lot I could really do about that. I feel like Sony should change that on PS5, but yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Again, I'm sorry about that, but yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye.